Hello, Abraham and Esther and everyone. I've been thinking that I must be doing pretty well to be here and be a part of this. It feels like an answering to so many questions I've had for so long. It feels like I'm in my vortex, at least some of the time, because I get to be here doing this. My question is about, I think you've said before, we are speaking to you at many levels of your beingness or layers of your awareness. And I'm wondering if that is about degree of connection to source. When I'm more connected to source, I understand this all a lot better and deeper. My knowing is total. When I'm not in alignment, it still makes sense, but it's more intellectual. Is that what you mean, or is it more cosmic than that?
Well, it's exactly what we mean. That's exactly what it is. The cells of your body are communicating with source energy. That's one level of your being. Your source energy, your own inner being, is part of the mix. That's another level of your being. There's a lot that we could focus on and talk about, isn't there? But you've pinpointed the most important approach to this. You can tell by the way you feel how much you are allowing yourself to receive. This morning, as Esther was in meditation, getting herself ready to be ready for this moment in time, she sat, as she always does, in her place of greatest comfort and closed her eyes, took her iPhone, moved to the sound file that is the hiss of a central air conditioning. It's the one that she finds to be most effective. As she listens into the hiss of this atmospheric sound. She likes it because it's not a sound that she actually hears with her ears on a normal basis. It sounds like atmosphere to her. It sounds like it could be floating through space, or it could be floating underwater. It's like being somewhere in the cosmos, and here is this presence of all that is in terms of sound and atmosphere around her. That's the way her mind softly approaches that. So she sat in her most comfortable position and began breathing to the rhythm that she has discovered that she likes best, and set the intention to release her thoughts. Now here's the part that we're really getting to. She felt some tension up the back of her back, up the back of her neck, up the back of her head, that felt like tension, pressure, almost a little uncomfortable. We would use the word asking in combination. Asking. Lots of desires stirred up recently, especially with pandemic and world events. Lots of asking. And Esther could feel that tension that was not uncomfortable, but it was also not comfortable. And heard our words, that's asking. And then immediately, all of that tension subsided. And instead, there was ease and a feeling of detachment from everything that was the slightest bit troubling in nature. And then she heard us say, answer. Now, the reason that we're giving this to you in this way is because in every asking, there is effort. And in every letting go, there is absence of effort and receiving. And it is your job to know the difference. Could there be any answers if there were no questions? Could there be any expansion if they were not asking. So both are important. What we visit with you about is understanding your role in the asking and the letting it in, the asking and the receiving, the asking and the receiving. You do step one. It's not hard to do. Life causes you to ask. Source answers it, and the law of attraction gathers up the cooperative components. But you have to be able to recognize and to practice and accommodate and blend with and be in the receiving mode. So many of you, as you write your questions, speaking to our friend with the ADD and the medication, couldn't you feel the effort and the tension in that question? Couldn't you feel it? Couldn't you see it? Couldn't you sense it? Didn't you know it? And can't you feel the letting go in this answer? Can't you feel when you're letting it in and when you're not? Now, you don't want to be moving through this world in a constant state of meditation. Don't drive while you're meditating. Don't make love while you're meditating. Don't play with your kids while you're meditating. Don't do things that are delicious to focus upon while you're meditating. Meditation is releasing resistance. Meditation, in other words, that process that Esther experienced just in this day, just a few hours ago, was showing her at yet another poignant and obvious point in her life. This long, this much later, she started meditating in 1984. So all these years later, today, she was new again, on yet a new path of feeling during meditation the subtle difference between asking with some efforting and letting it go.